In a Jar Part 2. Miss Deborah created a wonderful world for us to explore, collecting things that are hard to hold in jars. Oh, I just love it, love it, love it. She inspired us to create our own jars, didn't she? Yeah, we did that. Yes, we did. So this is my couple of jars that I started. This particular jar, I actually created smoke in. It kind of, oh, wow. Nobody but my girl did that. Thanks, Chloe. Okay, this is a jar of smoke. That reminds me of my pawpaw. He had a pipe that he used to smoke, and so there's that. Now, you can draw things like that, smoke, or you can draw like, I don't know, rainbows or stars in the galaxy or something like that. Those things are definitely hard to hold. Or you can do kind of like I did with my pawpaw and the smoke over there, and kind of like what I'm going to do here. These jars are actually going to hold memories. Yeah, I'm going to collect memories in my jars. And so I told some of you this story of when my family went fishing, but some of you might not have heard it. So as the story goes, I took my family fishing for the first time. It was me, it was Mrs. P, it was Chloe P, and it was Royce P. And we all went fishing at a friend of ours' house. They had a lake. And I had all kinds of tackle, man. It was awesome. I had little plastic bait that looked like little minnows. I had some that looked like little bugs and worms and grubs. And I had the bobbers and the hooks and the sinkers. I had all the things, all the fishing things. And went and could not catch a thing. I couldn't catch nothing. Mrs. P couldn't catch nothing. Chloe P couldn't catch nothing. And Royce P couldn't catch nothing until we heard the secret. Oh yeah, the host who was hosting our first fishing trip told us the secret to catch fish in their pond, and we couldn't believe it. It was like, what you need is a hot dog. And I'm like, what? How in the world what are you talking about a hot dog, man? I don't understand. How are we going to catch fish with a hot dog? Oh, by the way, Mrs. Deborah, to put a little pause in the story, Mrs. Deborah used this trick to make her jars look like they're made of glass, right? She actually left a white margin around the whole entire thing to make it look like that whatever was inside was actually contained inside of glass. So this is what I'm doing. I'm getting a white crayon, and you should too, because we're going to use watercolors on these things after it's over. Get that white crayon and trace around the edge of your jar. Anyway, back to the story. They said use hot dogs, and I mean, it's their pond, so I guess. So Royce P, he did it. He actually broke a piece of hot dog off, put it on his hook, put a little bobber out there, and threw it out in the middle of their lake. And oh my gosh, in about 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes, he had a brim on the hook, man. He brought that brim in. He was so excited. It was our first fishing trip, and he was the one that caught the first fish. Oh my gosh, we took pictures and everything. It was awesome. And then he did it again. We put that fish back in the lake, and then he tried it again in the same spot with another piece of hot dog, and booyah! He caught another fish, not more than 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes, he had caught 2 brim. I just couldn't believe it. Hot dogs. Who would have thought hot dogs would have been the thing to catch fish? But he did. Out of all of us, he was the only one to catch anything on our first family fishing trip. And so that's what this jar represents to me. This jar is going to be a memory of our first fishing trip and how we had a hot dog on the hook. Oh my God. And all the fish was coming. It's just the craziest thing. So after hearing my memory, what are you gonna put in your jars? Remember, you need 3. I have 2 down, my pawpaw's pipe and our first family fishing trip. What are you gonna put in your jars? This is what we're doing today. We'd like you now to go and have fun.